All right. Hello. Erica, thank you for hopping on. I know it's hard to coordinate this time, but I appreciate you. And for all of you guys who couldn't make it and are watching the replay, I would love to hear you or see you say replay in our group chat. So I know you watch this. So I know that you are kind of caught up. Oh my goodness, leadership. I have heard for so long that being at leadership is like the absolute best. And that if there was one event that like the leaders said that they could go to, it would be leadership. And I just kept hearing all these good things. And so at the beginning of the year, when I was making my vision board, I was like, okay, I need to think big. What would be like my ultimate dream goal for this year? And I had been to NLC, which is for newer leaders. And I knew I was qualified for that. So I put leadership on my vision board. Honestly, truly, not even really like knowing that I would be able to go this year, but as like a goal at some point wanting to go. And you guys are freaking amazing. We made it happen. And what an amazing retreat. It was like the best, the best. And sitting in the room with those ladies, like seeing what they've accomplished, um, just knowing what I was surrounded with was so humbling and just like I don't even have words for it. Just like they are who I aspire to be. And I just was like, oh my goodness, like they're stars, like they're famous movie stars in my eyes. And I about ran into Aaron Hopkins in the hallway, and I was just like, oh my gosh, because I like literally almost ran into her. And I wanted to say, hi, my name is Erin too. I want to be just like you. But of course I froze and I was just like, sorry. And she was probably like, oh my God, who's that girl? But anyway, it was so cool. We got to hear some of the exciting things that are coming. And I know I blew you guys up in the chat with all of these things. But I just kind of I took some notes and I wanted to share some of the things that I took away. I won't tell you everything because there's a lot of things that, you know, are just fluff, I guess, maybe, but there was a lot of good stuff. And so we heard a lot from Brendan Burchard, who is the creator of the Growth Day app, which we got these free sweatshirts and we are partnering with him. We also have the potential to earn commission, not only from Body, but also from him with his app around mindset and like personal development, business development. He's going to do, not only does he have the app, he's also going to do stuff for us personally in Body. Like I think it was every Monday, or not every Monday, every month on a Monday, he is going to do a live, like a call for us, like our network. But he is just like full of life and energy and funny, and just he was so good. And some of the things he said, I was just like mind blown by. So he talked about this problem, like there were three problems, and like kind of figuring out like the solution and sharing these problems, or sharing the solution for these problems. And one of them is like being stuck in a time zone of the past. So he said, like, we're living in the wrong time zone for the life that we want to have. And by we, I mean, you know, whoever is kind of facing this problem. And I was like, how true is that? Like we focus so much on like the past, what happened yesterday. We focus on like our what happens today is a lot of times driven by the reaction from what happened yesterday rather than it being focused on our future, like our tomorrow, and where we want to be tomorrow. We're focusing on what happened yesterday. And I was like, wow, that's so powerful. And just made me think like, stop focusing so much on what happened yesterday. Like, yeah, you have to learn from it, but really focusing more on where we want to be tomorrow, and not like focusing so much on the past, and not mourning the past. He said, when you avoid action, basically because you're kind of like thinking it out, you're overthinking it, you're playing out the different scenarios in your brain, whatever it might be, procrastinating, which I'm really good at. He said, when you avoid action, you promise decay. So basically, like, you're killing momentum. You're like promising that the action is not going to happen. And I thought that was also powerful. What else did he say? Doubling down on what you guys have done to get where you're at. So, like, basically not doubting yourself and focusing on what you know works and what has given you results on your health and fitness journey with your business, and not kind of like staying in your own lane and not comparing yourself to those around you, doing what is true to you, and like focusing on doing that and really like doubling down on that. Oh, this was so good. Everyone talked about this. This was like some people, this was their biggest takeaway. So the average American spends 2 hours a day on social media. And that is like typically mindless, kind of getting sucked into scrolling, liking other people's stuff, watching stories, looking at reels, that sort of thing. And he said 2 hours a day times 365 days is 730 hours, divided by 8 hours, like an average work day. That's 91 days. 91 days we spend in a year scrolling social media aimlessly. Like, what if we could take that back and be productive with that time? I was like, I'm sure I probably do scroll. I mean, maybe not 2 hours, but I'm sure I scroll social media between an hour and 2 hours aimlessly because I get sucked into it. Maybe not every day, but a lot of days. And, how awesome would it be to have more time with your family, have more time to relax or do whatever it is, rather than getting sucked into social media. And he also said, I don't know if I wrote this down, but there was like an average number of times that you swipe, or that you swipe, like either you're swiping to like look at, a reel or like a carousel of photos, or you're swiping up. And like the number of times that you swipe is like directly related to a comparison. Like, you're comparing yourself and you're making a judgment about what you're looking at. Like, I'm not saying it right. And I feel like I wrote it down, but I don't see it. But like, you're comparing, you're judging. So you're looking at something and you're like, do I want to look more into this? Do I swipe? Do I like it? Do I comment? Like, you're judging it. And that's why like we're so judgmental, is because of social media and the comparison game and all of that. I thought that was really interesting. What else? He just talked about how different Body he is and why he chose to partner with us of all the companies that he has done events for, that he's spoken for and worked with before, like, just gone and spoken for, but that he's never partnered with another company. He's been doing this for like 20 years. He's like really, really, really amazing. And it's one of those things, like, I didn't know about him until he came to Summit a couple years ago and spoke. So I didn't even know. One thing that he said was, be thoughtful, be intentional, be less aimless. If you're going to sit down by a computer, by your phone to do some work, have a checklist. Have something sitting next to you so you have tasks, so you can check things off, so you don't get sucked into scrolling. And create your content first before you sit down and start looking at social media, so that you don't get sucked into it. And we talked about the comp plan, which I know I've sent you guys a bunch of videos to watch. And I'm curious if you guys feel like after watching some of them, it's a little bit like the changes are a little bit more clear, or if you feel like, I feel like that last one that I sent you guys on Wednesday when I was driving, that one was the best one by far, because they broke it down into like actual scenarios of people. So you could really see and visualize, and like you could see concrete numbers and how it would actually work for people. Especially with that, what's that called? The group volume bonus. I just talked a little bit more about that, and I can talk about that more, but I kind of wanted to just hit all of the highlights, and then I can talk about it more if you guys want me to. Something else that was interesting. I don't know if you guys know who Erin Hopkins is, but she was in a panel. So there were like 5 or 6 different coaches sitting up on stage, just answering questions. She is, I think, the number 3 coach in all of the network at this point. I feel like she's kind of like had a couple of like really, really good years. Like she's kind of rising. And she said that she posts forms. Like she'll say, click the link in my bio, fill out my form, or she'll put her link in her stories, or she'll put a link in her post or whatever. She said, no one fills out my form. And I was like, well, that makes me feel better, because no one fills out my forms either. And I just thought that was so interesting that she can be so successful and no one's filling out her forms. It was really interesting to hear from all of the different people that were in the panels how differently they run their businesses. What works for each one is so different than what works for the others. And each one has kind of found like their thing, like what is important to them. And it's really truly like about their journey. And so like Tasha said, her thing is like weight loss, losing 100 pounds. And like, I don't know if you guys know, like Katie Moore, her thing is like healthy recipes. And so they find their thing and they like really, really focus on that. And that has like brought them a lot of success because they're like experts at their thing. So I am going to really try to think about like what my thing is and really try to focus on that. But I thought that was really interesting, like hearing how different everyone is. And it just is a good reminder, I think. And I really try to do this. I think I've told you guys before, I don't follow other coaches. I follow all of you guys and I watch all of your stuff. But as far as like sister coaches, like other coaches on our team, other coaches on other teams, I don't follow them. If I'm friends with them, I don't watch their stories. I unfollow them specifically, like on Facebook, so their stuff doesn't come up in my feed, because I don't want to compare what I'm doing to what they're doing and then start questioning what I'm doing and then start over analyzing and overthinking and thinking I should be doing what they're doing because it seems like that's working for them, when I need to focus on what's going to work for me and you guys on what's going to work for you. So that is like a huge, huge, huge takeaway, is staying true to you and what works for you and what feels good for you. They talked about having like a rule that they follow is having 10 in play, having 10 ongoing conversations, like, whether it's like a connection conversation or like you're in the middle of sending information about our programs or products or whatever, but always having 10 conversations going. And if you don't have 10, like if one person starts ghosting you, then you start another conversation. So it doesn't get too overwhelming, but you also have things going. You feel like you have momentum. I thought that was a good, like, it wasn't like go send 100 invites. It was like have 10 conversations. I was like, okay. I mean, do I have 10 conversations now? No, I need to up my game. Oh yeah. Okay. So it's every Wednesday. Sorry that Brendan's going to go live for us. When we start doubting ourselves, it's a signal that we need to start learning, that we've stopped learning. We've kind of gotten complacent, and that we need to get curious and start learning. Thought that was interesting too. Also, okay, so he talked about like sales advice, and he said there's 3 Ds of selling. and like really focusing on these 3Ds. One is demonstration. So whether it's your workout, your food, your shake, talking about why it helps, how it helps, why you do what you do. And really explaining, not just showing your shake or showing your workout, which I am totally guilty of, but why, and like not saying it has 14 different superfoods and adaptogens and all these things, but like this helps curb my cravings. This helps hold me over until dinner. This is a great on the go breakfast because I normally wouldn't even eat breakfast. Like making it super simple and relatable to the person who's watching you, who probably needs exactly what you're doing. You know, they need that. But and they also said, like, you know, we feel like, probably all of us feel like, I'm kind of beating a dead horse with a lot of these things. I feel like I've said it like a million times, and everyone knows by now why I drink my Shakeology, and they know why I do my workouts. But I think like there's actually a lot of people who probably don't know. And, you know, they might not have seen your story that day. They might have forgotten. They might be a new follower. So really, and it takes like 7 times for people to notice something. Like they might even be watching your stories and not even see it, because I'm oblivious. So I can totally relate to that. So just not assuming anyone knows anything, and honestly, just being repetitive is kind of a big takeaway too. Directing people, discovering, always be asking questions. When you're in a conversation with someone, ask, like, to find out more about what they need, what they want, what they like, what will work for them, what their goals are, and then telling them where to go. So those were the 3Ds: demonstration, discover, and direct. And giving people a deadline. That was kind of like a subset, but making sure that you have a strict deadline, not just like when you're sharing in your stories or on your feed, but when you're messaging, especially if you've given someone like the details, they ghost you, coming back with a follow-up and saying, hey, my group is starting tomorrow. The deadline to join us is tonight at midnight. Like really giving a strict deadline so that you know, if you, like when Kohl's says, hey, you have some Kohl's cash and you've got to use it by this time, it's like, oh shoot, I've got to do this. You either decide you're going to do it or you decide you're not going to do it. And I feel like a lot of times I would rather know they're not going to do it, or they are going to do it, rather than hear nothing from them. So I feel like that kind of gives like a little bit of like, tell me what you're thinking, sort of thing, you know, like it gives them a, okay, yes, I'm going to do this, or no, I'm not. Okay, this one was really good. He said, I feel like a lot of times we feel like we're being pushy when we're following up, when we're giving them a deadline, when we're doing these things, and kind of, you know, just, hey, checking in with you, hey, whatever. And he said, it is not too pushy to earn more for your family. And I was like, wow, you're right. Like, I know not all of us are here to earn a big income, and that's okay. But, you know, I think we all kind of want to earn a little bit, even if it's just to pay for our supplements. But I really thought that was so powerful. Like, you know, I feel like a lot of people look at our company and other companies too, but as like a gimmick sometimes. And I know I like fear that. And so I feel like sometimes we get in our heads about being pushy. And if it was anything else, sales wise, like that's just sales. And so I was like, okay, you know, that really does make me feel better. Like I am here to help people, but I'm also here to help my family and to grow an income and to provide and all the things. And sometimes just they just need a little push. What else, guys? I'm keeping you over. Sorry. They talked about like how to kind of work together to grow, how simple we're simplifying things. So I know I sent you guys the topics, like the points for each new thing that's coming. So just to kind of summarize, we are starting to have a monthly body option. So we have the monthly just body. We'll have the what they call the Rebel Pack, which is the monthly body plus Shakeology. Then we have the annual body. Then we have the annual body plus product. And they also are doing a 3-year body, which I feel like that's going to be more for like people who buy the bike or who make a bigger investment and who are kind of committing. I feel like the bike is kind of like a longer term thing, and it comes with the bike studio, or the option is there already for the bike studio to get the 3 years. So I feel like that would be a good thing for a lot of people, but I feel like we're probably not going to sell a lot of 3-year memberships to someone who's coming right out of the gate. Maybe for a partner or for someone who's like in it for the long haul and absolutely does not want supplements. But it is an option, and they're trying some of these things out. It doesn't mean they're necessarily going to stick around, but I think they've gotten feedback that people want a monthly body option. So they're doing that, and gift certificates for people who want to purchase a body membership for a family member, whoever, doesn't matter. But they'll get a gift certificate with a code to redeem. It's a 3-month subscription. We're going to have quarterly super blocks instead of a super block every single month, where we felt like we were kind of always like, oh shoot, there's something coming out, we've got to do this. Just kind of busy, which was actually what they were trying to get away from with the super blocks, was constant program launches. But it kind of felt like we were still doing that with the new things always coming. So they're scaling back and only doing 4. And I think I sent you guys the screenshot of what the 4 things are. But the first one of the year is actually To Be Mindset. So that's really exciting. So they're adding they redid the To Be Mindset videos that we used to have. And I think they created some new content. So it's like really like above and beyond. So like, I'm going out to eat. Now what? Scale's not moving. I want to build muscle. I can't even remember. Tasha told us what the topics were just from her phone. But there's like a ton of videos. And so we're going to get access to that in January, which will be so awesome, because we can, maybe do like a nutrition focused group and go through those videos together or something like that. But that'll be good. And then one was Lift More, one was XB Pilates, I think, and one was Sure Thing. So we'll have those. And there's 2 programs coming next year. They did not tell us anything about those at all. But we will get those. And then there's going to be specials, which are by the trainers. They're like little mini programs. So they said they're like kind of like things that they don't quite have enough content to make into a full program, but they're going to be just like little, I think like week-long-ish subsets that are just kind of fun little things that you can kind of do on the side, or just kind of do to switch it up here and there. There's going to be 20 new bike rides every month instead of a bike block. And monthly body blocks. So instead of there being like 4 body blocks, like the iron block, the all body block, the 4 beginners only block, they're going to do just 1 block a month, making that more simple. And they're making a fitness and nutrition quizzes for us to kind of give to our clients, so they can kind of narrow down what might be a good program for them to start with, as far as fitness goes, which is kind of awesome, because we have that for nutrition already. But instead of us trying to guess what might be a good fit, like they'll have an actual quiz that they can go to and put in their info, and it'll give them suggestions, which I think is so cool. Mindset master classes, a 3-day mindset reset. So it's kind of like a 3-day refresh, but for your mind, which I'm like, I feel like that's a good thing. Yes. And I feel like there's more things, but that was kind of the gist of all of it, I think. Hopefully making it a little bit less intimidating than all of those screenshots and everything. but yeah, like lots of new and exciting things. They really talked about, and this is my first experience, so I have no idea what it's been like in the past, but everyone talked about how good this one was, how everyone felt like the energy was different, and it just felt like a good place, like everyone was in a good place. And with all these changes coming, you just never know how people are going to take it. And some of the top earners are actually taking like really big pay cuts. Or they expect to. I guess it's hard to see until we actually get there and see what some of these changes really look like. But hopefully it will all work out, and they won't. But there's the potential, I guess, for them to. But it's exciting because our newer people are going to earn bonuses, and they're going to, earn more money up on the front end, which I think is super important for you guys who are newer. So we can help you guys earn a paycheck sooner, easier, and help kind of get your business started that way. Because it's hard when you're starting out and you feel like you're doing all the things and you're not seeing as much of a paycheck as you'd like. So I'm really excited for all these things. I will take a quick boomerang. And guys, please, if you have questions, do not hesitate to ask. And if I don't know the answer, I'll ask Tasha, because she knows all the answers, because she's on the advisory board that has done all these changes. So she's like an expert. Okay, smile. Okay. Sarah, I will see you in Destin. And then I will see all the rest of you guys next week. Okay. Bye, you guys.